Hey everybody, Mike Slifer here in the First Alert Forecast Center, and we have a lot to talk about in our First Alert Weather Extra tonight. So we've been giving you the first alert throughout the week that we were expecting maybe some showers on Saturday as a cold front crossed. As we became a little bit more confident that we would not only see showers but thunderstorms, we went ahead and issued a First Alert Weather Day, and we are going to start with that, breaking down what you need to know tomorrow. It is certainly, of course, a busy day. There's a lot of fairs going on. A bunch of other activities will be ongoing across the state too. So wherever your plans may take you, make sure you have a way to stay weather aware, because tomorrow between 1 and 8 p.m. we're expecting strong and severe thunderstorms. Hail, wind, and heavy rain are all on the table, and we can't rule out an isolated tornado. So the biggest impact here is certainly outdoor plans. Perhaps we'll start to see some outages pop up underneath some of those stronger storms. If you missed it earlier, the update from the Storm Prediction Center showing this level 2 risk that goes all the way from northern Maryland and Delaware up to southern Maine. And it does include at least northwestern and western parts of Connecticut. Elsewhere outside of that, most of the state in a level 1 risk for severe weather, which is where we were yesterday for most of the state. Now, we're keeping an eye out for the latest runs of First Alert Futurecast. These will be updated later on this evening. So when you join us for the Wax, for Eyewitness News rather, at 10 on the Wax, and tonight for Channel 3 at 11, we will hopefully have some updated information to share with you on the latest timing. But as we see it right now, it's a dry start to the day tomorrow. First Alert Futurecast here showing those storms on the approach by 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon and evening. First, moving into northwestern parts of the state by 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then in the middle of the afternoon, they'll be approaching the I-91 corridor. And note that they stretch all the way from Massachusetts to Long Island. So sometimes along the shoreline, we get some relief. We do not expect that tomorrow. These will keep moving east, weakening as they do so as the evening progresses, and eventually exit eastern Connecticut tomorrow evening with showers expected in their wake. So where we see repeated instances of heavy rainfall, we could easily see rain totals climb 2, if not over 1 inch, favoring western parts of the state. Now, in the southeastern corner of the state, especially, this will be a beneficial rainfall. But too much, too quickly is where we start to run into issues. So poor drainage flooding a possibility tomorrow. That could hinder your travel locally. On the excessive rainfall outlook, Connecticut has been added, especially, we'll say, the western 3/4 of the state. It's the southeastern corner that's not included in there. But as we mentioned, this is an event where we could see threats of all kind. So lightning under any storm that formed will be an issue. If you hear thunder, you're close enough to be struck. Go inside. Damaging wind gusts underneath the strongest storms. Hail, a possibility, and an isolated tornado somewhere in the region cannot be ruled out. Now is the time to start thinking about your backup plans if you lose power tomorrow, or what's your safe place if a tornado warning were to be issued. These are the types of things to be prepared for now, and certainly have a plan if you'll be out and about tomorrow. We did want to briefly mention that the free First Alert Weather app will send you updates based on your location. It's especially helpful when lightning is headed in your direction. If you're watching this on your computer or your television, we'll leave this up for another 20 seconds or so. You can scan this QR code, and what it will do is take you to the App Store on your phone. You can download for free the First Alert Weather app. Use our interactive radar tomorrow to track the storms, or just use it to get the updates based on your location. That really is crucial on days like tomorrow, where a lot of people, of course, will be trying to enjoy the first weekend of September, spending time outdoors, and perhaps, depending on where you are in the state, maybe a place that's not necessarily the easiest to see where weather is coming from the west. So just something to keep in mind. Another change to the forecast here is that after the front rolls through, there it is, passing on through, an area of low pressure will actually develop along it, and that's going to enhance our chance for showers on Sunday, especially the first half of the day. So your first alert to maybe a bit of a dreary start to the day on Sunday. We do expect some improvement once we get later into the afternoon. Could be a bit of a slow process. That front will help to kick the mugginess away from us. Dew points back down into the pleasant range on Sunday, but especially into early next week. That's going to coincide with our next chance for cool nights. We're talking low temperatures in the 40s to around 50 degrees and cooler days. The silver lining, perhaps, to the shower chance is that we do get some relief from allergens over the next couple of days. Ragweed and grass are the big ones. They'll spike there Sunday, dropping back more on Monday. But with dry weather in the forecast through most of next week, certainly possible we see those numbers climb a bit. We did have a bit of wildfire smoke above, a little bit of cloudiness out there too. Neil snapped this picture of a smoky sunset in Haddam Neck looking up the Connecticut River earlier this evening. And Lisa snapped this picture in Wolcott, zoomed in on the sun, showing up as a vibrant red, and that's because of the smoke. What happens is the smoke scatters out the other wavelengths, the shorter wavelengths, so all that we see on the visible light spectrum is the longer wavelengths like reds and oranges, and that's how we end up with such a vibrant look to the sky on these nights. Connecticut's only live radar is scanning clear and dry right now. That will not be the case tomorrow afternoon. Over the last 6 hours, we really haven't seen much to talk about. It was a little breezy out there, but otherwise dry. We could see that cold front taking shape. Some thunderstorms moving into parts of West Virginia right now, approaching the greater Charleston area, for anyone familiar with the state. Pittsburgh, too, and then into parts of western New York. The coverage is not quite as much. A little bit more isolated in coverage. Here's a live look at our iCam in Torrington tonight. Dry and quiet. It looks like our iCam in Middletown froze at some point during the afternoon, so we'll take it to our iCam right now in New London. 68 degrees, winds out of the south-southwest at 15 miles per hour. So it is still a little bit breezy out there. Now, temperatures today, 80 to 85 in many communities. Some mid and upper 70s in the southeastern part of the state, and some upper 70s in the high terrain of northwestern Connecticut. But the big difference, not just the temperature running seasonably warm for this time of year, how about those dew points? Right now, 65 to 70 just about everywhere. So it is muggy, if not downright humid outside, and that will be the case through tomorrow morning. When you wake up and step outside, it'll feel like a summer morning. A little bit breezy out there, not only tonight, but through the morning tomorrow. Wind speeds 5 to 15 miles per hour, and temperatures, because of that southerly flow, will be slow to drop. We're still around 70 degrees, even as early as about 3 in the morning, and temperatures will eventually slip into the 60s. We'll take it town by town here. Some mid-60s throughout northwestern Connecticut, mid and upper 60s in the greater Hartford area, and we'll see mid-60s throughout the quiet corner of northeastern Connecticut too. Shoreline towns closer to 70 degrees tonight. Inland throughout our southern four counties in the mid and upper 60s. Look at Branford, 71 tonight, 70 in Milford, 68 in Wallingford, 66 in Naugatuck. So feeling much more like a summer night than what you might typically expect for early September. Lots of fairs going on tomorrow. Wapping Fair in South Windsor, the North Haven Fair, the Hebron Harvest Fair, and the Bethlehem Fair. We're expecting temperatures, given the warm night, to climb rather quickly. We're talking mid and upper 70s as early as noon, if not even a couple towns approaching 80 degrees. We'll reach our peak in the lower 80s between, say, 1 and 3 in the afternoon. Really depends on the timing of that front. But note the lightning icons that are popping up there, the thunderstorm icons. That is certainly something we'll be battling tomorrow. So please stay weather aware. In the tropics right now, that tropical wave that at one point had a high chance of actually becoming named, looking a little bit less organized and moving into a region that perhaps isn't going to be quite as favorable for it to strengthen. Still a medium chance it becomes named, but the signals are not quite as impressive as they once were. So we'll be watching that too. We will be the first to alert you if it becomes named. Tomorrow, our first alert weather day, it's muggy. Temperatures around 83 inland. We're still near 60 degrees tomorrow night. 71 for the high on Sunday with morning showers. And then look at those temperatures next week. Overnight lows back in the upper 40s to around 50 degrees. Temps in the mid-70s, peaking at 79 on Thursday. Lower 70s on Friday. Now, there are some model differences between what happens Thursday as a front approaches, but for now, we're going optimistically dry. Shoreline highs go from 81 Saturday to 69 on Sunday. Big difference along the shoreline, and then we'll be in the mid-70s until we peak around 79 on Thursday next week, back into the mid-70s by Friday. Once we get into the second weekend of the month, the 6 to 10 day outlook here bringing us from September 11th through the 15th. Looks like things could actually run a bit cooler than normal, which we already see signals of at the end of next week, and also a bit drier than normal, especially in northwestern Connecticut. So the overall pattern here favors more cool, dry days, which we've seen a lot of this month. Temperatures the first 3 days of the month were below normal, only by a degree on Tuesday and Wednesday, but still below normal, before rebounding back into the low 80s yesterday, mid-80s today. And we had some rain that rolled through last night. It wasn't quite enough to be a drought buster for us, but really any rainfall that we can get is beneficial, and we will certainly see more tomorrow. Another reason that rain can be beneficial is it'll help perhaps save the foliage season. You might already notice that some trees are beginning to turn, and that's actually due more to the stress from the dry weather as opposed to the cool nights as of late. So Typically, northwestern, northeastern Connecticut, the peak is mid-October, late October through the Connecticut River Valley and all the way down to the shoreline. And in 10 days from right now, we will have our final 7 p.m. sunset of the year. So if you like the longer evenings that are only here for really 10 more days, we lose daylight pretty rapidly over the next 6 to 8 weeks. And that rate will slow down a bit. But once we get into the middle of November, we're in what is the darkest 90-day stretch of the year that lasts through part of January and into February. And then, of course, once we get closer to setting the clocks, well, we'll start to see those late sunsets return. But we have one final check of the First Alert 7-day forecast. Stay weather aware tomorrow. Scott Gagliardi will be here tomorrow morning. Josh Singranelli tomorrow evening. We will break into programming tomorrow afternoon and evening if a storm warrants it. So be sure to stay on top of any alerts, any warnings that come through from the National Weather Service, and beware of lightning. Sunday morning showers, maybe not an ideal way to begin the final day of the weekend, but we do expect at least some improvement as the day goes on, and then just a gorgeous stretch of weather next week. We will have much more for you coming up on the Wax at 10 and Channel 3 tonight at 11. And remember, download the free First Alert Weather app. It will send you updates on your location tomorrow, and it will be super handy to have. Otherwise, hope you all had a great day and have a great weekend.